Good evening. Welcome to TalkBack. Wherever you are, just want to wish you a wonderful evening. I'm your host, Dio Kiji. To my right, I have my personal, poetic, fabulous, beautiful, naturally beautiful Miss Nat Wright. Yes, honey. And to my left, I have my fabulous, beautiful, smart, intelligent, fiery, loving, beautiful Maloya, Cassandra Black Barbie Green. Okay. Yes, yes. So we're really glad to have you here this evening. Last week, a lot of you tuned in, and for that, we just want to say thank you. We're very grateful. Today's show is packed with information, packed discussion. We are unapologetically ourselves. No offense to anybody, but we will get straight down to the mix of it. So I want to start with this week. What's this week been like for you, Cassandra?
Oh wow. Quite stressful. I had a lot of work on, and I was sick.
Oh no.
Yeah, I had a bit of flu, but it was quite stressful, and I think I worked quite hard. So when it got to the weekend, we partied hard. Yeah, we turned up at Shisha Bar. Yeah. It was exclusive, private event. It was fantastic. You were there, weren't you?
I was there, yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I did not get there. It was lastminute.com.
We were invited, yeah.
It was literally lastminute.com, but I needed to get out. I needed to have a little break myself, so we went to, it was chilled. Shisha, a few drinks, nice music, soft music,
soft music,
it was soft music.
Opposite to mine.
But it was lovely. Nat, what was your weekend like? What was your week like?
My week was fantastic, actually. Very, very good week. I had my radio show on Wednesday, which was really, really good. Yes. And I was really happy with my mix.
Yeah.
So I'm going to send it to you, ladies. I'll send it in the group so you can have the car. Yeah, on the way back. And then at the weekend, I DJ'd on Friday night, Thursday night. Right. And then I partied at the weekend. I went to Printworks for the first time.
What was that like?
It's massive.
Yeah.
Brilliant. It's like, there's about 3 floors, and it's just like a massive room. It was called Ants, the events, and it was just like, music was brilliant.
How many people?
I don't know. It was like ants, like an anthill with millions of people just walking around, and the music was vibes.
Nice.
It was brilliant. And then I went to like another little underground minimal tech night on Sunday.
Oh, you know me. Feel weekend as well.
As usual.
Sometimes you just have to just like unwind, especially when you've had a really long week. And I feel like that's part of like main thing for me, well-being. Just
I have to unwind from my weekends. I don't know when I get the unwind. This all rolls into one.
And we are here and we are back.
On a Monday.
Yes. Live. So let's just get into some trending topics. Right. Let's start with what's been going on in the world of Cardi B and Offset. I think more towards the fashion is what their statements are nowadays, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, I actually like Cardi B's fashion. I think she's quite stylish, like very sexy.
Sometimes it's a lot though.
I like it. I like a lot.
That one there with the tie. I don't know about that.
Okay, let me just ask you now. Out of the 4 picture, if you not that you were Cardi B, but which one of those outfits would you wear?
I personally probably wouldn't wear any of those. I'd probably wear the one that I looked at first and said no, which is the fishnet.
The fishnet. That's my choice.
I'm not feeling that jacket. I'm not feeling the jacket. The tracksuit's alright. Them green big suits they're wearing now, you keep that's a faux no for me.
He's got this. You know what I like about this 2 couple though is that their personalities always show through in their dressing. Cardi B came on the scene as this, I'm louder than life, I've been a stripper, I'm this, that and the other, and she doesn't really care. So she embodies whatever she wears.
Yeah, just own it. And I love it. You've got your own style, and that's very me. Yeah. I've got my own style and I own it, and I think anybody that's what you should be doing. If you've got your own style, you've got to work out, you've got to be unique and individual.
What about Offset? Offset style, I love it. It's really relaxed. I feel like I could see, like my guy in that and really like
in those platforms.
Listen, do it.
man. Before platform.
Last week she said about lace fronts, and now she wants platforms. I'm kind of concerned about you.
Well, I'm just saying, if that's his personal style and he's comfortable in it, I'm alright.
Sometimes the fashion for men is going a little bit left for me.
Yeah, it's quite quirky. And it kind of brings it back to like maybe the 60s and the 70s. Remember they had platforms and the afros. So, you know, fashion, it actually revolves, doesn't it?
It does, it definitely does.
Which kind of, when you just mentioned about, you know, the way fashion's going forward, and we just mentioned men, like, what about ASAP and Weeby? The way fashion is forming nowadays, like you were saying, like, it's just crazy, the whole blanket situation, you know.
Okay, was that at the...
Yeah, there we go, there was a gala.
Well, she just wore a blanket.
Let's have a look. They both rolled up, and it's all in the love of fashion, in blankets.
Well, I do like a blankie, me, but I think clothes are better. But I think with Rihanna, with her pregnancy bump and what she does, like, she's another person who owns her own personal style, and now that she is out with the bump, she's out with the bump. You know, panties, belly, and lace.
Do you think it's too much though? Because every opportunity now, my girl's like, well, look at me, I'm pregnant.
But that's her though, isn't it? That's her personality. And now that it's out and she's proud, she's like, well, look, here's my bum.
And she looks amazing. And the way that he compliments her style, again, is that Offset and Cardi B persona look.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer their style.
I do. I prefer. It's a lot more classy, isn't it?
Definitely.
But the colours in that bottom one.
The red is popping. It's popping. Okay, well then, if we're going to talk about couples that dress like extravagant, it's going to have to be for me. Who is it for you?
Kim K and Kanye West.
Okay.
Are
they a couple? They ain't a couple no more.
Did you see the Balenciaga tape that she wore the other day?
Yeah. Oh no, exactly.
What was that? The gold.
Okay, there.
Oh no, I saw I saw one when she was wearing like a tin foil, like she was the Tin Man from.
No, that was it. It started off with strips of tape, Balenciaga tape, and then it evolved into a whole covered outfit, which I think is.
The devil my eye, can't pay me to stop. My God at the top. We gon' praise our way out the grave dark.
Speaking those things to clout.
Yeah, it is.
But it's a publicity.
It's to make a statement.
Well, to be fair, Kim K wasn't in the headlines as usual, you know, and the only thing keeping her there, you know, for me, is the situation that's going on with her and Kanye. And I feel like she's trying to divert attention from that by attending this event and doing what she did, because everybody's been talking about it. Look at them. If you look at them separately, the way that they dress and things, in the way that they carry themselves, I actually think it's quite slick and futuristic. And a bit
those taken separately. So was that taken after they were
they were separated, yeah.
But they're still busting the same style.
Yeah.
So they are in sync.
Yeah, but he's wearing Yeezy, isn't he? He's wearing his brand.
Stuff.
Like Kanye West definitely is a creative genius.
Definitely pack as an outfit, you know.
I'm not sure about the
everything.
I'm not sure about the dresses though.
What do you think?
Everything means something.
Yes, with Kanye West.
So what do the dresses mean? What do the dresses?
I don't know. I don't know what exactly it means, but I just believe that everything that he does, there's a meaning behind it.
Yeah, there's something.
It's his song, his fashion, statements that he posts on Instagram.
Okay, let's move away from the fashion. You know what? It's good that you say that. Let's move away from the fashion for a little bit, because it's trending topic. Apparently, it's what's popping right now.
Ski.
What is that?
Ski is peak. So did you not know that yesterday he had an argument with Kanye?
Yeah.
And Kanye was like, "Where are you?" He was like, "In bed with your wife." And I posted a picture like, "Yeah," and it was like that was just, he went too far as I'm concerned. You know he's vulnerable. You know he's obviously gone through a lot of things mentally. And yeah, I feel like shooting down black men.
No, but I mean, they did
upset me. And I was like, yeah, upset me. I'm like, leave Kanye alone.
I do feel like he's under a lot of pressure, and I think he does manage it fairly well considering. But I mean,
okay.
When it comes to relationships, you know, if you're asking
but
somebody,
Kanye thinks that he's a creative mind. He's absolutely mind blowing in terms of the way he thinks and designs and how he puts things out there. And anything he literally touches, it's like everyone wants it. Like the Yeezys that cost God knows how much, and we've all got a pair, kind of thing. But it's the fact that he's a creative person in that way. Most times, such people sometimes just can't function with normal people in certain ways. So he's for me,
Well,
he's been bullying. He has been bullying Kim, like, publicly, and
bullying.
Yeah, I don't think he's been bullying.
How is he bullying? How is he bullying?
Okay, there was a situation that happened recently where he's posted, I think yesterday or something, and he's posted that he literally like he hasn't seen his daughter for a month or something.
Yeah.
And Kim comes and she responds and she said, "What are you talking about? You were literally here yesterday." So it's like sometimes it's putting up.
I don't know if that's technically bullying. I wouldn't say that's bullying, but I mean it is the media hype. And like, we have to fight the men's side because we don't have any men on the panel. And you know, when a man is separated from his children, it can be very, very difficult. And we have been seeing publicly that he's not handling it well, and he hasn't really got the access.
It's true.
I'm not followed that deeply, but did she cheat on him?
This is it, guys. If you've got any opinion about this current trending topic, before we move on to the next topic, please do call in, share your thoughts. We'd love to hear from you. The phone numbers will be right on the screen shortly. But now, you think that he's innocent? No,
I don't think he's innocent.
Sorry,
There's no innocence. But what I'm trying to say is, relationships are difficult. Relationships are difficult, and they're in the public eye. So you know, as things. Like, people make mistakes. I read an article where she was saying that she had to do what she wanted to do for her. She didn't want to be in a relationship with Jesus.
So you think she cheated on him?
Well, I think so. But I mean, but this is sometimes how relationships are. But that doesn't mean that he shouldn't have access to his
but we don't know if he doesn't have access to his children. That's what I'm saying. We actually, he's saying he doesn't. Right? Unless we're Kim K or Kanye, really, all we can go off is what Kanye is saying, because Kim isn't really saying much.
No, she's not, because Kim's very controlled, as in everything that she does is she's aware that media attention's on her, right? And she's built a legacy that right now she's feeling like, Kanye, you're destroying your legacy. And that, those things that Pete said, I kind of felt came from Kim.
Pete, sorry.
No, came from Kim, from Pete.
Pete is the boyfriend. Kim's
okay,
So what Kanye's saying is she's very controlled, and she's grown up in a system that's controlled, and obviously her mum, the big boss, pimping out her dollars. Anyway, conversation for another day. But she's very controlled in that sense, whereas Kanye's saying, look, I'm free.
I say what I want to say, I do what I want to do, I'm wild, and I don't care,
And if you remember, the first song that he came out with was Jesus Walk With Me. Do you really think that you can preach about Jesus and God and the devil gonna like you? He just reminds me of Job in the Bible. Do you understand? Where the devil is attacking him and he's destroying his life because he wants him to walk away from God. Because he's been such a great, pusher of the, I wouldn't just call it a movement, but he's embraced Jesus. And it's very rare that you find rappers singing about God. Okay. And that's exactly what he done. And the tunes were fire. Do you understand? So I think it's...
So we've got team Kanye, Team Kim, and Team... Do I care about Kim and Kanye? A little bit, but it's interesting. It is
Correction, I am not team anybody.
I don't
send anybody, I'm not.
No, but I just do feel sometimes that fathers, somebody has to fight their corner when it does come to kids, and there are sometimes women who use the kids in a negative way, and there are men who are also, very trying and unsupportive. So we have to look at individual cases.
Yes.
But I am quite sensitive in terms of supporting men, because I've got 6 brothers, and women can be very, very powerful, and they can be very, very hurtful and conniving when they're ready. But so can men. So I just think that we have to make sure that it's fair.
Yeah, but it's all good and well, but there's systems in place, like the courts. If you have a problem, they're not letting me see my, well then go to court, because the court have a right to protect the rights of a child, which is that they're entitled to have contact with both parents.
But the system, you say goes to court.
Go to the club, babe.
No, that's not fair. 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 I have a friend who wanted to see his daughter, and the mum wasn't letting him, and he's gone through. He did go to court. He's been through the court. He goes through the court system. He's paid. He's waited. He's paid. He's waited, and slowly he's now getting to see his daughter and having the time. But the mum had so much power for so long, and it was all about what she wanted and her whims. And he wasn't at popping clubs. He wanted to spend time. He wanted to see her, and he had to fight. And he had to fight long and hard. So the court systems, sorry to fight you, lawyer, but the court system.
It does does work. It does. It depends. Every case is different. You can't judge every case on the same merits. So there's cases where there's issues of domestic violence. There's risk of harm. So there are cases that the courts have to take their time, because there was a really big case, and the courts allowed the dad to take the children. He took the children for that weekend and he murdered them. So they're very cautious now.
That could be any sector.
Yeah, but I just think it's very biased. I mean, it is biased towards women with the mums, and I think that's right in a lot of ways. But because of that, men often lose out and they're at risk. So it's not always the women are not always right as much as
no. I've seen
because there's some real are we allowed to say biatches here? Oh my god, there's some biatches out here.
I think I've heard it all. So obviously, I represent a lot of men in fighting for their children, and these women will make up the most fantastic lies possible. But one thing I would say, guys, if you're having trouble, give me a call, DM me, and you'll get contacted. Sometimes it takes long, but
and it's important. I think that is the message really. If you are serious about your child, you're gonna have to do whatever you have to do to get there. Yeah. So, and it might take a long time, but the system it can be flawed.
I definitely agree. Definitely agree on that.
We got our first fight.
And on that note, let me just welcome back new viewers. Welcome to TalkBack. I am your host, Dio Kiji. To my right, we have naturally beautiful Nat. And to my left, we have Cassandra, Cassie, Black Barbie Green. And we've just been talking about the fact that what's been currently trending in terms of I would say the black famous sort of social media influential people like Cardi B, Kanye West, and Rihanna, the fashion and what they've currently been experiencing on the trends. And moving on to our main topic tonight is jobs and the new normal. Guys, jobs and a new normal. What is that? When we hear that, what are we saying?
Well, the new normal is kind of like out of COVID, isn't it? Because a lot of things changed when COVID came in. A lot of systems were placed, and I think we were very much pushed online. And the new normal that we talk about is how our lives have changed after COVID. So jobs and the new normal is how has work and careers changed for people after COVID. What's different?
It's definitely transitioned into remote working, isn't it?
Oh my God, yes. If you could call it that. For some people, I'm not going to say any names. Some people don't really work from home. They lie in bed from home and chill out.
Well, a lot of people lost their jobs. A lot happened as a result of COVID. Corporations closed down, small businesses.
And I do think that was part. I do feel there was like an agenda. If you think about big businesses like Amazon and Uber Eats and all of these people, because now all the small businesses have to go through the big businesses to even work. Like I've had a lot of people, people that work in restaurants, because they were the only people, takeaways. They were some of the only people that really kept going through the lockdown when it pushed online, but they had to pay so much money to Uber Eats.
Yeah, there's the high percentage actually.
High percentage, and you think about
35% of their
35%, and then we have to pay more. So if you walk down to the chippy, you've been paying like, I don't know, like £7, but if you buy it online, it's like £9-10.
Right.
So I think business has changed in a lot of ways, and like, if you think about Amazon, deliveries, everything is deliveries online, and they've taken out that like face-to-face shopping, like retail's been killed a lot, I think, by COVID. Actually live
retail
shopping.
In terms of like fashion or retail
like shops, like going into the shops and picking up your clothes. Before, people would do a lot more shopping, even though it was moving towards online before. After COVID, it's like a complete change.
But some sectors of the retail though are doing quite well, aren't they? Some sectors such as like people like Asda, Morrison, Tesco.
Yes.
Logistically.
No, well, the shops, supermarkets were the only ones that stayed open.
Right.
But I'm talking about their online deliveries. If you think about, you can order online now. Do you know how many more people will sit at home and just order and get their deliveries? You see the trucks taking up all the road, parked in the middle of the street.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people
Ocado.
during lockdown as well, wasn't it?
Put on weight.
I don't think anyone came out of lockdown. Everyone came out with a few more pounds.
Well, except for me, I came out a bit thin.
I don't know. I don't want to be added to that pack.
But yeah, sorry, working from home as well, I definitely witnessed a few scenarios of people intoxicated, slurring their speech on the phone, children running in the background, their dog's barking. It was,
They even say that. They say that on the phone. Or some of our people are working from home, so you may hear some different noise.
Actually, on that note, let's just watch a quick video of one of the bloopers that we thought was quite funny. Of all the ones that we've seen over COVID, there's been plenty.
How the agreement is going to... Jason, I'm on an important call, but can you please go out? So sorry about that, guys.
So cute.
Quarantine. You said you both received the agreement, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. I'm so sorry. Let me just lock the door, please. Just hold on. No problem.
Nice shorts. Nice shorts, Josiah.
Oh, oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. This is embarrassing. Please forgive me.
It's no problem, Josiah. No problem at all.
Oh, with the shorts. That is hilarious.
Coronavirus. An ironing board for a table.
Oh, wow.
TikTok.
I'm on TikTok as well.
To get up.
Yeah, so
Hey guys, that was actually really fun.
So we've seen a lot of, like, as you were saying, isn't it? Lots of people working from home, the new normal sort of looking like literally at the peak of COVID, everyone was working from home. Apart from people in certain
feels like, I think, like the supermarkets, like NHS, plumbers and people like that, people delivery, construction, teachers, some teachers, like my school stayed open for the vulnerable. So some schools stayed, but then we had to set up and send work online, do things like that.
Was there a lot more work? Was there a lot more work then, do you reckon, when COVID hit? Yeah, or was it less work? Less work for, you know, teachers and, you know, people kind of...
I did as much work as I used to do. I mean, it was different type of working because I set up a lot of structures. When the first COVID hit, I set up a lot of structures, like forms that the rest of the staff could fill out. So when they're interviewing the students, we had to make phone calls home to check on certain learners, and then some of the learners went in. So it was different type of work, but I would say it wasn't as strenuous, but it was quite stressful in a lot of ways, especially going in with the ones that were vulnerable and not knowing what was really happening. There's a lot of panic. But we knew quite early though that everything was going to shut down because they said to start preparing work. They're like, you're going to have to start making work for the next couple of weeks. We kind of knew early, probably from about April, that the schools weren't going to be opening back. So.
Okay, what was it like when you returned and you had to manage the bubbles? Because the teachers that I know, they were stressed out. They were literally having like 5-10 minute breaks.
It was because in the mainstreams it was a lot harder as well because there's so many young people and then they had to stay in their year groups. And they can only stay within that year group, so then it gets very stressful. They can only be in certain areas, so very, very stressful.
I just didn't feel that the government had any consideration for the teachers and the workload and the extra work that you had to do.
I mean, I think that was I think for a lot of people, the NHS, the teachers,
everyone, all of us.
It was actually a crazy time, and not really knowing. But I mean, I did find some solace and some good times in the lockdown, not being at work and being in my own space, and you know, it was.
Do you feel? For me, I felt like working from home at that time, and you know, having to communicate via all these platforms, and having one-to-one meetings. I was having so much more meetings than I would usually have because everyone can access you. It's like, what excuse have you got? You haven't gone to a meeting in wherever. You're going to
there. We know where you are.
Like, literally there. So I was finding that I was working longer than when I was in the office because obviously I would have certain excuses to go and make a coffee. Not saying that I wasn't making a coffee or taking the odd breaks, as you saw everybody there was doing different things on the video. I mean, I was one of them, but it was just the fact that I was easily accessed and you know what I mean?
I found it almost the opposite because I was very the the structure for me. Like I missed it, but having the structure of going, you get up, you go to work, you're there from 9, and then you have to work. For me, it's like you get up, what should I do now? I started working a lot later, or I'd be like, oh, let me go downstairs and make myself something to eat, and just wash up these dishes first, and then I'm gonna go and sit down. Oh no, let me do. And there's always something else, and then I kind of, my day kind of shifted. So I would start working about 12, and I probably worked till about 3 or 4, and then the sun would come and hit my balcony at a certain time, so I'd have my break, I'm like, right, I'll get my wine, and then I'll go and sit on the balcony and have my little break, and then I might go and do a little bit more into the evening. So it gave you that freedom to kind of do what you wanted to do in your own time, and it was similar with my son as well in terms of his schoolwork. So we stopped getting up. Like your time kind of slipped, but it was okay. And I was like, I quite enjoyed it. But now, when it was time to go back, I was like, oh, what? You go in, what's the time to go who? And I still find that difficult, and I still find it difficult working from home now because I still find it quite distracting. Whereas when you get up and go to the office, right, there's your computer, I'll sit there, sit in your box and get on with it. At home, I'm like,
serious. I work from home a lot more now, and I enjoy it. I've got my little desk set up in the corner of my room, my little mini office. And once I've done my school run, normally I'll be driving to the office, I drive back home.
Yeah.
Put the road back on. Put the road back on, thingy.
No,
I actually get back in my road.
And all like excited, can you imagine Miss Black Barbie there in her silk robe, making her notes for my...
No, I wasn't talking silk robe. I meant like Papa Cotton, you know the woolly one.
I literally have my work clothes on and I'm sitting at my desk. I want to do conference calls, got clients to call.
And she's got like a mound of lists of papers, like piles and piles.
Organized. I have like my task sheets and tick them off as I go through them. You have to be.
I need some of that in my life.
Definitely. Just as lockdown hit though, all the courts closed. So a lot of our work got pushed back. And at the beginning it was like, yay. And then it was like, because the way that we operate, we build our cases on the conclusion of the case, right? So now they've pushed back our cases 2021, 2022. So we're like, how are we eating? Do you understand? Like that's
So did you still get paid?
But we don't get paid to the end conclusion of the case.
Oh, so that's how it works.
Barristers started to do petitions and obviously writing to legal aid agency to say that you have to change the system of how you pay out.
Because furlough, that was a big thing. And then lots of different industries are affected. Like, because I think with me, a lot of my DJ friends and the party scene.
Oh, that locked off
completely. Completely gone.
But then we found ways around it. It wasn't as profitable. We weren't making money.
You're not making money.
We weren't making any money. But I feel like everyone suffered financially. Mentally, it was very difficult. We keep going back to, you know, certain people were going through mental issues because now you're in a box in your house, even if it's a mansion, it's just you in your house, day in, day out, no communication apart from, you know, like virtual communication, no human contact, none of that. So a lot of people were feeling it. Do you know what I mean? And then that's when our DJs, myself, so many of us took to the internet, took to platforms where we could just spread happiness, isn't it? It's free.
I feel, it's free. So you know, but then there's people who base their livelihood on it, like the big raves, the DJs, and me as well with my spoken words. It's like the world closed. So it's like I was going online and I was doing set performances online and you're sharing. It's more about sharing, but you're not earning.
Yeah, but there were some people that are registered either as a business. If you're registered as a business, be it entertainment or be whatever, at the time they were all getting like, whoever applied, of course, bounce back loans. There were so many little schemes for furlough loan and money, and as well as new businesses for the 16 to 28-year-olds or whoever had a new enterprise.
Did you have to pay any of that stuff back? Because I heard that with the furlough,
without interest. No, but with furlough is different. Where they used to make people, so furlough, they put you on a 80% of your normal wages, right? And if you're furloughed any further, it's down to your company to buff up the furlough for you, or they have a minimum, what the government is saying is furlough, right? And some organizations buffed up for their employees, and some literally just gave you what the government is saying is what can sustain you if you're not working because you're on the bench. So a lot of furlough people were able to be free, if you're a freelancer, to go and do little
other bits and pieces,
because you wouldn't normally get the chance to do that because you don't sit on the bench and get paid 80%. And then it
it kept on dropping until, you know, a point when they didn't. So moving away from the furlough, then we have those who were self-employed. Those ones were able to get certain loans, bounce back loans, and all these other things. But yes, you do have to pay them back. However, there is a big gap in when you can pay it back without interest.
Yeah.
So a lot of people actually took advantage of it.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, some went and invested the money that they got for the time. Some actually paid their mortgages. You know, Barclays was the biggest distributor of the bounce back loan. Even then, at that time, Barclays at the very top. You see HSBC too. They tried their thing. You know, there's Virgin Media money. There were certain people, companies and organizations that were giving, as well as the government schemes that were giving back these to help those who were registered as a business and can, you know, show their operations and what it is that they do.
But then
okay, so that's showing the fraudsters, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So the bounce back loan scheme was launched in May 2020.
Right.
And what they did is they failed to conduct credit checks. So loans were paid out within 24 to 48 hours.
Wow.
I believe it was something like £5.2 billion was paid out by the government by the coronavirus job retention scheme. And approximately 4.9 billion was done fraudulently. And what you find is a lot of people, they're looking at 50 grand loans to small businesses that fulfilled specific criteria. So what people done is obviously they took full advantage of the opportunity, sold it on to someone else, they took out the loan, other person went back to Europe. And if you understand that the laws that we live under within England and Wales are only governed in England and Wales. So these people that have gone back to Europe are never coming back, their money's not coming back, and guess who's going to pay all that 4.9 million back?
But then on a positive, I have been getting a lot of messages talking about, did I work through the coronavirus so I can claim back some tax? So if you did work through coronavirus, you may be able to claim some of your money back. Because I'm filling out my form to see if I can get some cash.
So the new normal, what does the new normal look like to you? We've been discussing what it looks like and the direction it might perhaps be going. But if you have any thoughts on today's topic, jobs, the new normal, please do feel free to call in on our phone line just right there, 07576697266, and of course we do accept WhatsApp calls, so wherever you are in the world, do call in as well. Okay, so what do we feel about the way COVID has just been dropped now, which means unemployment is still rising. The rate of unemployment is still going up. Yeah, and they said that the highest it's ever been was like 10 years ago, where unemployment rate was quite bad. But then obviously with the government, with a lot of people being put on furlough, eventually a lot of them got made redundant. So the way on the system is that, you know, you go on the government's universal credit, they put you on universal credit, and then what they're doing with these benefits, I suppose, is that they are pushing people into data, pushing people into tourism, whatever it is. But they've got like foundation level entry into certain jobs now because
they were telling people to change jobs and go to different roles.
Right.
So you're in a new career, but at the bottom of the on the scale.
Yeah, because some people they've been on furlough for so long, then got made redundant. 2 years out of a skill, you're going to find it quite difficult to get back in. So it's kind of like they're finding incentives to kind of reassure us that, well, those who are not working, that, oh, we're here for you, we're here to support you. But I feel like in some ways that's making people codependent. Personally, I feel like it's making people codependent because you could just sit there for a little while, say you're doing a course, and I know a lot of people probably might not do the course. So is it really working? Do you know anything about it? Have you gone on any of these schemes? If you have, please do call in and share your thoughts.
We have to also think about the students as well, because they're like, I speak to a lot of my students because I work with behaviour. I go around and I work in the mainstreams with the ones that are at risk of exclusion.
Imagine production there. After they told us to turn off my phone,
I think that worked.
They're ringing phone.
I was the mannequin challenge.
That was our first caller.
Oh my gosh! Obviously, that was our first caller.
But we have to think about the young people,
right?
Because for 2 years,
Oh, hello caller. Sorry, Nat. Hello caller. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello. What's your name and where are you calling from? Okay. Right. This is the second week.
Thank you for calling.
Right.
What we were saying before, we were so politely interrupted, we want you back. Now we have to think about the young people.
Right.
Because there's almost 2 years of learners who missed a lot of their education.
Yeah.
And the GCSEs, they didn't really get the input that they needed. And it's very, very stressful. And then now these young people are having to go out and face like university and applying. They've missed a lot of their learning. So that's going to also affect, you know, how these young people are going to go out and be able to function within the world. So, I mean, they had a massive impact.
Yeah, definitely psychologically as well. I believe that they said between 18 to 25-year-olds were hit the hardest by COVID.
Yeah.
Obviously the lockdown and mental health illness just soared through the roof. So if you could imagine people that were sick, they weren't getting the support they needed in lockdown, so they deteriorated even more. And then normal, you know, everyday people without obviously mental health illness, they started to suffer and show obviously signs of depression and anxiety. Obviously people were dying, people were in hospital and they were unable to see their families.
Hello caller, sorry, I think the caller might be back. Hello caller, where are you calling from and what's your name? I don't know if you guys can hear, but I can't. Okay, so there was a caller. Thank you for trying to call in, but...
Call back or text your message through.
Text your message through and we'll read it out. But I'd like to also say on the mental health that we say a lot about normal, and there is no real normal, and that's what it is. I think mental health is definitely a scale. It's not an on and off. It's not like, oh, I've got it or I haven't. I think we all have levels of mental health. Sometimes I'm at the bottom of the scale, sometimes I'm at the top. And depending on where you are, the pressures, like financial pressures, isolation, and all of these things can have an impact on how you are and how well you are. So there's no normal. There's no normal. If you need help, try to reach out, because there's a lot of people that are suffering and suicide.
The rate of suicide went up really, really high,
especially amongst men, because obviously men try to hold it in. They don't speak up about their problems, and that's something that, you know, I know society makes them feel that, look, I'm not allowed to cry, I'm not allowed to be emotional, but you really do need to reach out to your friends, your family, or, you know, there's organisations that can assist you as well, because you're valuable. And there's a comedian that says, oh, women and children and dogs are loved, but men are not loved. And it's actually, when you think about it, that's how it works, do you understand? But I just think that a world without men would be a disaster.
Yeah, of course.
What would we do without
agree. Can we send a big salute out to all of our kings and all those dads, all those, you know, there's single dads out there. There's lots of people, so we appreciate you.
We love you.
We love
we respect you.
And those who are struggling, you know, keep your head up, keep going. You will be missed. So don't leave us.
All right, so let's just touch up on how do people get recruited nowadays, the recruitment, how recruitment goes, and how do people get employed nowadays? How do you think?
It's still like, I suppose, lots of online applying and things like that, and interviews online and stuff like that. But now we're almost seeping back out, aren't we? So things have kind of gone back to normal.
Have they?
This is it.
I think they are. What is normal, really? But I mean, things are kind of like, I think a lot of the systems were put in place. To me, I know everyone will say that I'm a conspiracy theorist. Well, I don't know if it's a conspiracy theorist or conspiracy faxist, because a lot of this stuff has now come to pass. So they do a poem called Away in the lockdown, and it talks about a lot of the things and about the vaccine and all of these things, and a lot of it has come to pass. But I think a lot of the systems have been put in place, like in terms of the moving online, cashless society, all of these things, new world order. It's kind of been, the structure's been put in place, and now they're allowing us to seep back out within those restraints, if you know what I mean.
But just like Dee said, coronavirus has literally gone quiet, right?
Because everything's done.
Russia and Ukraine.
Yeah, but they've done it. But to me, they've done it now.
Done what?
But really, okay, so everybody's online. Before, there was a time where they said, right, I remember probably about 10 years ago, them saying we need to, by this time, we need to have all students online. Everyone needs to have a laptop.
Yeah.
Everyone has to be email access. I remember them kind of pushing it, and my mum being, no, but I'll be on the internet. It's not internet. You know, the ones that, but with Corona, what happened is everybody had to get online. If you're not online, you're not really functioning with
society.
The
norm. Yeah.
Like contactless. Like there was a time when they didn't want to accept cash. Like we were pushing for a cashless society. Now, really,
we can still use cash if you want.
You can use cash, but how many people actually do? How many people are using their phones to do everything? Everything. Your whole life is tracked in this phone with those cookies and everything that they send off, all of that data. So I think it was very much about moving us towards, like, for example, the new NHS. Like you've got the NHS, but now they're moving it to, what is it,
online something.
NHS, where everything, so they're going to move away from having the doctors, you know, that you go in and you have a sit down, you have doctors. No, they're going to move away from doctors.
That's
it's going to be
banks. That's in India. My bank is banking.
And that's what it is. You're going to be phoning up like how you do now. If you feel sick, you phone your doctor. You have a chat with someone on the phone, but then they tell you what to do.
Properly.
And this is what I'm saying. They've done those systems with Corona, the new normal. Those systems have now been put in place, and everybody is going through those systems online, like the ANPR cameras. We've all been digitized. Is what my phone says. I blinked and I did not realise that I'd been digitized, and we've kind of been pushed into the matrix. And if you're not part of the matrix, then you're on the outside and you're on your own.
It's a part of the new world order, isn't it? When I done my law degree back in 2013, I done my dissertation on the new world order.
Wow!
I know, my lecturer was
really. That must have been an interesting read. I want to have a read of that.
But my findings were effectively that they're trying to transition away from the principles of God, and that was my understanding of it.
You know, the actual we were talking about the Matrix. A person that actually wrote that book was a black female.
Yes.
Did you know that?
Yes.
But the way in which they've pushed it is that
it's supposed to have an all black cast as well. It was supposed to have an all black cast
because it was a spiritual. It was a spiritual sort of direction in which she was going when she went and pitched this idea to Hollywood, and Hollywood said to her, "No, it's so futuristic. It's so no, blah blah blah." And then they went behind her back, ripped her off, and formed it in the way in which they showed us the Matrix. But it is again about the new world order and all the technology, you know.
So my brother always says, watch it and just look out for the signs.
There's so many of the films that, you know, because I'm not. I wouldn't say that I'm religious. I'm more spiritual. But I've grown up with the Bible stories and whatever else. So with the Corona, I was there watching.
Nah, we have a caller. I'm really sorry. Who is on the line? Where are you calling from? What is your name, honey? Hello, caller.
The technicals of being live on TV.
Yeah, no, ain't it fun? Okay, well, maybe we'll just carry on. Sorry, now I had to hold that for a second.
What's that about? Oh yes, I was saying that I am not very religious, but I was actually watching about Revelations. Because I was like, no, hold on a minute. I've heard that these are the stories, but I never thought it was going to be in my lifetime. I thought my children were going to have to deal with all of this. I'm trying to, we're going to train you to deal with New World Order. No, it's me. I'm the one that's fine. It was like that, and I sat there and I watched. I didn't read, guys. I didn't read Bible because I've not got that. But I did put YouTube on, and I was listening to a lot. I'm like, wow. And there's so many different little prophecies of things, and it's so scary. There was a period that I was literally sitting in my house, like overly paranoid. I think that poem that I was talking about, I've got like a clip of it with me reading it, and it's like I'm sitting there like, we're in the belly of the beast. We can't get outside it. And because I'm not religious, but there's so many like links. If you look and you at the scriptures, and you're like, wow.
It's there, My bishop wrote a book, and it's called The World Will Burn. Powerful, and it just explains the rapture, the end of the world, and all these things that are coming to pass. Never before have so many parts of scripture being manifested in one generation. Yeah, when it talks about devastation happening in the world, and one thing that really stands out to me, it says that people will be distracted and they'll be focused on self. So the same way that Jesus gave us signs about the seasonal changes, like spring, summer, winter, you can look out your window and obviously you can identify the changes that are coming or what season's coming next. He says the same signs I will give you to the end of time. Yeah, but you people will be distracted and focused with selfie all day long.
So
everyone's
social media distracted,
yeah.
and what's actually important and
what's real.
It's I mean it's a crazy time, and it's like mental health and being with yourself and thinking, well, hold on a minute, is this real? Like, I'm reading these scriptures. Are we actually going towards the end of time? But I think you have to sometimes think about what they mean by the end of time as well, because we have kind of come to an end of time. We're going into a new digital age. If you think about the industrial age, the iron age, we've gone into a new world in terms of being digitalized.
Yeah.
So
that's my man. God and the whole.
I know. I get it. But like, there's a lot of people you get a lot of people saying, you're gonna have to. You need to start storing food. There's gonna be this. There's gonna be that, and we keep getting these. Oh, this date it's gonna be this, and something's gonna happen, and lots of paranoia.
Yeah,
but I don't necessarily know if it's going to be that literal. Yeah. We could be coming to the end of a world in terms of how we're used to living and the mindsets of where we are. And I do believe that we've gone into a digital
It's
time.
definitely digital, which is kind of touching back on what the government schemes are doing and the college schemes that they're doing. Heavily focused on data, digital, cybersecurity.
Everything.
And also there is other people that are working on aesthetics, AI. Like in terms of the blockchain, in terms of the even sexual AIs,
wow.
Yes. There's a whole crazy online platform that's going on, and all the government's energy, most companies, any smart individual that wants to think, what kind of job can I have in terms of longevity that I can stay in for a very long time? They're encouraging them into aerodynamics. There's a lot of even young black men into law, aerodynamics, data, sciences and technologies. Transportations and logistics is somehow happening, but that is already covered with the Amazons and whatnot, have you know.
And then also, if we say that as well, that kind of leads us well onto crypto and the meta, and
I love it.
How we've now, like, the world is changing, and it's like, do you battle it and be like, oh no, it's all gone online? Like my mum's generation would be like, no, I don't want to get the internet. Or do you embrace it? This is the way that the world is going. We have to learn how to navigate through it. You need to know about the meta. You need to get on Coinbase, guys. Get your, and I think that's what I did. Like when I was in my paranoid state, I was like, nah, the banks are gonna crash my money. So I started to put my money into crypto, and I took a chunk, and I was like, right, I'm gonna distribute it. At the moment, I'm not very happy with crypto.
I moved away from crypto. I'm not even going to give you guys my gems or anything. But you can find me online. Love it. Listen, if you're not moving with the times, if you are not moving with digital, for me, Oluwadayo, personally, you are missing the train. You are going to miss the train. My personal thoughts on the whole thing is re-educate yourself. If you've been in a certain sector that perhaps is failing, is dying, I hear the hospitality are struggling. People are used to being at home cooking, saving money. So people are not really going out as much. Yes, some people might still consider it a luxury, but the general consensus is the hospitality is dying. So a lot of people now need to retrain themselves into the new direction that I feel like the world is going. My sisters here have their own opinions, but mine is that you need to get retrained in digital or move with the times, or you get left choo-choo, the train leaves you your ass.
Yeah, you have to. I think that's something that I learned very quickly. Like, this is like, it's not going to change.
No.
Corona's not going to stop. They're not going to let us out. This is the system that we're living in. And I learned very quickly that you have to navigate through it.
Right.
Like, so even part with my partying and that kind of side of things, I was like, well, you're not going to tell me I'm not going to go out.
Right.
And I'm not going to let them tell me, so I continue to do
what I wanted to do.
But mentally, I'm going to have to live my life within this world.
Right.
And so I'm definitely interested in crypto, learning about the meta, NFTs, all these things.
Yeah, right. So NFTs is like this. It's a metaverse where people are creating images that are being sold for thousands, right? So if your child has got any artistic skills, any digital artistic skills, you need to talk to your child.
But it's not just that though, because
there's that side of it. There's that creative side of it.
But it has to be digital. Like,
yes,
because I was thinking, I want to do some NFTs myself with my poetry and with my pictures. but it has to be a certain form.
It's like an image.
It's like a digital coding
image
before you start.
That I'm just like, hold on a minute, are we losing our minds? So now we're spending thousands of dollars on a monkey picture that's
I know, you see some of these images, like I don't get it. But they're one-offs, but then you need to make sure you've got.
Yeah, he's getting yourself in a white list.
I'm not going to pretend that I know everything about this.
Well, I've got some information about crypto. In December 2021, Lyon, France held a global online virtual assets conference. And it was a call to protect the world's financial systems by increasing multi-sector cooperations and strengthening cryptocurrency crime investigations. So that basically means that they want to start monitoring and tracking people.
They don't really have a way of doing that.
Because a lot of people got freedom with the cryptos, and a lot of people got wise to it, and anybody can do it. And so then that's why they want to try and bring in a lot more classification and a lot more structure.
There was a lot of fraud that was happening where, you know, certain real authentic platforms are up, and then you've got on the back end, you've got the fakes that are ripping people off of their money. Right, so a lot of people would fraud. Right, on that note, guys, it's been a really good, interesting. Yeah, exactly.
Time we already run out of time.
This is how we
have to extend this show to make it 2 hours because this is not enough.
Oh my gosh, it's been an amazing evening. I've been joined by Naturally Naturite and Sandra Green, Miss Black Barbie, and of course I'm your personal host dancer on top of my hostess, on top of all of us, and we will see you next week. Make sure to tune in. Have a nice one.